What's going on, everybody? Living life on life terms. Um, we're back. I want to talk about just for the day. The just for the day reading. Um, don't mind me. I go wolf mode in the wintertime. So all the little fuck ups that the barbershop did, I fucked up. I just brought all back in the wintertime. But how's everybody doing out there? Good. Enjoy the Monday. Case of the Mondays to be. Let's get into it. November 10th, 2025, fear or faith. No matter how far we ran, we always carried fear with us. Basic text page 14. For many of us, fear was a constant factor in our lives before we came to Narcotics Anonymous. We used because we were afraid to feel emotional or physical pain. Our fear of people, our fear of people and situations gave us a convenient excuse to use drugs. A few of us were so afraid of everything that we were unable to even leave our homes without using first. As we stay clean, we replace our fear with a belief in the fellowship, the steps, and the higher power. As this belief grows, our faith in the miracle of recovery begins to color all aspects of our lives. We start to see ourselves differently. We realize we are spiritual beings and we strive to live by spiritual principles. The application of spiritual principles helps eliminate fear from our lives. By refraining from treating other people in harmful or unlawful ways, we found we didn't fear how we would be treated in return. As we practice love, compassion, understanding, and patience in our relationships with others, we are treated in turn with respect and consideration. We realize these positive changes result from allowing our higher power to work through us. We come to believe, not to think, but to believe that our higher power wants only the best for us. No matter what the circumstances, we find we can walk in faith instead of fear. Just for today, I no longer need to run in fear, but can walk in faith that my higher power has only the best in store for me. That's a good one. Um, so it says here, for many of us, fear was a constant factor in our lives before we came to know. We used because we were afraid to feel emotional or physical pain. Mm. So, for me, right, I was drinking and getting fucked up because I knew that my life surrounding me wasn't what I wanted it to be. I knew that the things that I wanted to have, it wasn't like there at that time. So, like a lot of times, I would like drink to numb the pain. Back when I was smoking and pills and shit, I would do that to numb the pain. Uh, because I was always afraid of not being where I felt as though I should be in life at a certain age. And I know that a lot of people deal with that. You know what I mean? Like, shit, I'm 20, I don't have it, or I'm 25 and I'm still living with my, you know what I mean? But that's a whole nother spill because, in actual terms, it's almost like the black race is almost kind of that race that has to look as though we have it all, has to look as though we're weak or, we're not this and that. So like, this is a simple thing that has been said or believed or spoken about. Mexicans and shit live together, anyway, which I have found to be true in most cases. They live together, they pay rent, and then they off to the next house, and that house paid off. And, even times of people that I knew that owned like restaurants that were foreigners, they would rotate. So they'll have people that come to America work for a couple of years, and then they'll ban them, and then take them back over there, and then bring in new people to do it, and it will like help ban them up. And that will be like their I guess their footstep to get to the next part. But um, I was afraid to be emotional. I was I was afraid to feel physical pain. That feeling when, you're heartbroken, or that feeling when you're stressed out and, you feel that like heart sinking in feeling, man. That could be a part of the physical pain, things of that nature. And, our fear of people and situations gave us a convenient use, a convenient excuse to use drugs. And I basically explained that just now, like how, you know, you may want to look apart, or you may be at age and you want to feel as though that you got this down pat, or you got that down pat, and you feel as though all of these things is in play because man, fear people and the situation. So in your mind, that gives you the excuse to be like, oh shit, let me get fucked up and drunk or whatever so that I can, or as people and the situations that I've been in before where you had to use to be around the people you um that you went to associate with, and I've done that numerous times where I had to drink or I had to do this so that I could be able to be dumbed down on the level of that walking zombie shit that, me and Neil talk about. Like, you had to be on the level of these zombies, you know what I mean? Just so that you don't get looked at like, oh shit, that motherfucker ain't got nothing in him, or, man, listen, it's a whole spiel with that. If you don't understand it, I ain't really gonna get too much in depth about that. Um, but here it says, a few of us were so afraid of everything that we were unable to even leave our homes without using first. So that's where that anxiety thing comes from. You know what I mean? That's where that anxiety part where for me, I used to be so afraid to go out, or I would be so afraid to do anything, go to a shopping market, go to a mall. I'll be so afraid to do stuff because my anxiety always like had the best of it, and if I didn't drink or have anything in me, I was like, paranoid. I was nervous. There was times when, I wake up and I got nothing in me. It was like, I go to the market, I go to the store, and it feels like everybody's watching you. It feels like, damn, and, being looked down upon because I'm at a certain age and I ain't gonna buy shit. So that's where it reverts back into this part where, um, you know, we were afraid of people and situations. So in my mind, I'm like, shit, if people I'm there with the high school with, if people who may have seen my path of me going to LA, hanging out with celebrities and all that types of shit in my life, and I'm back and, I'm at my rock bottom, so, that anxiety, man, that anxiety grew, and it started to make like my deadlines were being met in my life, so if my deadlines wasn't being met in my life, I feel as though that, damn, what image am I giving off when I run across people, I see people, I'm not living up to the things that I, spoke upon, and I believe so heavily that I would be at. And I know I'm not the only one. I know it's times people may have hit rock bottom or living in the projects or whatever the case is. But, you was on a level where you was maybe here, and things could have been, would have been, and then it just all of a sudden dropped. And, for me, man, people tend to frown upon and look down on you when they, they see that you're not where they feel as though you should be. And it's put into your mind that you're not where you feel as though you should be. But when I learned through God, you are right where the fuck you need to be. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I was fucked up and I was in them alleys and shit, hanging out, sleep in my car, bottles unopened, bottles open next to me, and I'm drinking. I haven't eaten in a whole fucking 7 days, because alcohol was my protein. That's what the doctor told me. I was at my lowest, man. And I'm gonna be honest and straight up about this. I was at my lowest, man, and I would go on Facebook, message and hit people like, hey, what's going on, I need you, whatever the case is, if you got this, look out for me. Um, and, a lot of these people were people from high school. Some of these people were people that I knew. Some of these people were people that I may have met. And it took a lot of, well, for now, it take a lot of courage to talk about it and to be able to, mention those things. But man, I had some people, man, that just like left me on red. Um, shit, like two people that I grew up with, like, it's female wise, I grew up with, like, seeing that shit block me and, like, deleted me off of, anything. And I'm just like, damn, like I'm sitting here and I'm crying tears because I really need the help. And it's like, I didn't really want my family to truly know what was truly going on because I was still trying to hold the weight of custody battle, trying to fight for custody for my son, holding on to jobs, trying my best. And the things that's just happening on the job that was out of my control. Um, and, trying to, maintain keeping my, keeping, income coming in so that I could be able to, still try to speak for my son and then being put on child support when all actuality I shouldn't have been on child support, but it is what it is. I suck this shit up, man. And it's just like trying to hold the weight of like helping my baby mother with stuff together, a car, and getting repoed, you know, taking care of Christmas and shit like that. I stepped up as a man and in return, man, I got beat down and slapped down for people that, I trusted, people that I knew as a man that I had to carry that weight, that load to, be that man that I was taught and raised to be, man. But man, I'm telling you, man, when you hit that rock bottom, man, and you're just down and there's just people laughing at you or people making fun of you for what you got on, you ain't wearing a certain, shit and all that. And this is just Baltimore shit in the hood that I do. That you ain't wearing design, all that shit, you know what I mean? Some certain people will look down or frown upon you. That's why like a lot of times I changed my ways of thinking. I started working with the Jews now, Sports Smart, you know what I mean? They taught me a lot of things. These motherfuckers had houses, cars, bar mitzvahs, blowing money in casinos and shit, but wore the same shit every day. So I picked up that mindset of I didn't have to look like something in order to impress another person to make me feel good. I learned that there. And as I continue to meet different ethnicities, working for the Chinese company over top of Sports Smart, running their $1 million business all by myself. And shit went south with the riots in Hong Kong. Their store started to go south and, the COVID happened. So, I was out on my ass and I hit them like, hey, like, I'm a little fucked up right now because of COVID. I know I need money. I know I can't work, whatever. And it's just like, they kind of just like shoved me off in the closet. Like, so I was just basically like kind of just on my own with a lot of things. But it's just the things that was leading up to that put me in that cycle, man. And I ain't gonna say no names, but I talked about this with Neil yesterday, but it's an individual that I've been seeing, where, a old friend of mine from a block over passed away, rest in peace. Um, you know, we all had our blocks separated. You had Linda, you had, you had us, Clipmont, you had, Mayfield, you had, down bottom rig. So you had like different blocks, but we were all kind of, in cahoots here and there. But, one of the people that I like messaged and reached out to, like, bro, yeah, I need somebody to really talk to. Um, and this dude, like, he do little programs with like helping kids and, all those type of things. And he like, talk all this big stuff. And, as far as like, like trying to be, I guess trying to be like a politician type or whatever, and trying to help, trying to help people and things and speaking highly at schools or whatever the case is. And I'm down and fucked up and messed up and I message you, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I really need help, and I was reaching out to men, women, like anything that was trying to, put me in a better headspace position, man. It was just like, everybody was just like, get the fuck away or down. Like, I was at my lowest, you'd have thought that really I was just like a straight up junkie, you know what I mean? Like, and I say that because, man, I'm so grateful and so happy and proud of the ones that really, the ones that did stick by me. There was people that did stick by me, but also was left a little bit too. But it is what it is. And there was people that were really like, yo, I would hit them like, y'all sick. And motherfucker really be like, all right, yo, once you send me a cash app, I write down and get down talking to the person. And this person knowing my hurtness and all that. I'm gonna just say the person ain't Black Reg. You know what I mean? Like when I was down, bro, fucked up, I would call this man, yo, I'm sick. And like we would really talk like 1, 2 in the morning and shit like that. And he would listen and give me stuff back, but he never like judged me. He never, pushed me down. He never looked down upon me, and it was what I really needed. And some people look at it like, oh, he amazing. No, man, like you don't understand what it's like when you're really sick and your body is being dependent on a substance and you cannot eat, you cannot fucking sleep, you cannot go outside. It was for some times when I couldn't even walk. I had to crawl up the steps and pretend that I was okay. And I'm shaking and walking because I ain't ate in damn near a week and a half and I'm walking to the bars in the snow and all that shit, man. And another person shout out, I ain't gonna say their name, but that motherfucker used to come pull up and help me as well. Like, yo, you good? Like, yo, just take me out. So, oh, I got this, whatever. Can I borrow this? Or, yeah, I mean, I need to go try to pick my son up because my car was fucked up and all that. Man, it was so much, man. It was like, yo, people really get so on their high mighty horses that they can't be touched. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, and I'm gonna fucking tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you something, my sister Guadalupe. The same way that God put that shit in your motherfucking life is the same motherfucking way that God can take that shit from you and put your ass in a place, in a position where you feel as though nobody is fucking there for you, in a motherfucking place where you feel as though the whole fucking world is coming down, the whole earth is coming down, and you down on the ground, and you got nowhere to go and nothing to do, and nothing to fucking have for yourself or anything, your thought, mind, body, or soul to lift your motherfucking self up. I was there. So it's like, I know not to 100% kick people when they down. I know not to 100% look down upon or frown upon on people, man. There was times I used to call motherfucking junkies, fucking crackhead junkies. Man, I call them recovering addicts or active addicts now. And it's like you don't understand half of the stories of why people do the things they do. And some people just end up just in fucked up positions that just take control and it fucks them up. And, it says here, at the beginning, it says fear or faith. For a while, I was living in fear because I was trying to please others. I was a people pleaser. I was the one that, tried to make everybody laugh or, try to fit in, and this, that, and the third. And at the end of the day, I I was the one that was abusing and beating myself that, you know what I mean? The rest in peace to Wayne here, but Wayne here was there for me, bro. Like, I ain't no money. I mean, I'll pick him up in the morning, like, yo, I need like a hit or something. I need a manager or something. Yeah, I mean, yo, we hit the ball real quick with the manager, and I'm okay. I'm not sick no more. I'm okay. Even like during times when I was trying to seek help and I was going to Bayview AMU unit, I think it's called. I was going there, staying for a couple days because I couldn't eat. I couldn't swallow anything. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't put fluids in me. And I deal with dirt. I deal with heartburn. So sometimes I'm missing my medication and I'm just throwing everything up. I can't keep up and down. My sugar's right. And I done had my sugar down to 16. I done had my sugar down to 12. You know what I mean? And the only thing I knew best was that Bayview can hook the IVs up in me to put the fluids in me. But it got a point in time when, I was going so much. Hey man, so my video got interrupted with a video call. I was at speaking about how, I was going to Bayview at the AMU unit, I think it's called. And like I said, it was times when I was going so much that the needles that, the IVs and shit that they was plugging in here, it was like being bruised because the veins were still recovering from the last time I may have been there. So, I started having them, getting entered into my hands. But man, I say that because, like I say, man, people don't realize sometimes what a person may be dealing with or going through. And then it's also like Tupac always said, once said, we are addicted to AIDS until it happens to you. So it's like, of course, people ain't going to see, um, how things is until they hit that bottom or whatever the case is. But you have those that may have not, but also understand um, how um, that pain may feel. Um, as we stay clean, we replace our fear with a belief in the fellowship, the steps, and the higher power. As this belief grows, our faith in the miracle of recovery begins to color all aspects of our lives. We start to see ourselves differently. We realize we are spiritual beings and we strive to live by spiritual principles. So it's like after a while, I got to the place where I my mentor once told um because I was doing alcohol, that was my major thing. My mentor once told me that alcohol um brought anxiety. Alcohol brings you anxiety. And I didn't realize that until I started to really like digging deep into it, and I started to realize like yes, because it's a depressant, right? So when you putting it in you and you depressed or whatever, you feel okay for that moment, but once it's gone, the pain feels so much worse, and it comes back 10 times full, because it's an antidepressant. It only suppresses, um, your feelings or whatever for that time frame. Um, and it's things like that that I had to learn about, the shit that I was putting in my body, shit that I was, just doing and I thought was fun, shit that I was, but see, that's how it started out as fun, hanging out with the homies, going to the clubs, drinking, you know what I mean? Going to a cookout, whatever. It started out as fun. And then as time went on, it started to be a dependent, then it started to be an escape, then it started to be something that I couldn't put down. It became an addiction. Um, Also something I wanted to talk about is that, because I mentioned this, when it was a point in time, I was like, junkie, crack, whatever the case. But what you don't realize is that addiction is addiction. And a lot of people don't realize that they have it. And, I mean, telltale signs is like, once again, I'm not putting nobody out there and I'm not gonna definitely say no name. It's not nobody in my circle, it's just somebody I follow on Instagram and I see, um, every single fucking day this girl, right, is out partying. She got kids, got 3 kids or whatever. But every single fucking like every time story come across, right, she's out with a fuck. But it's not the fact of partying, it's the fact that she's out with a drink in her every single fucking day. And then there's times where the morning time I see a story and they've been drinking from the night before, and I click the story in the morning, and then it'll be a pregame getting ready to party and drink. I'm like, God damn, like. But I'm not saying that people who drink are alcoholics. No, I'm just telling you that it's showing me telltale signs of in that situation. Like, why is it that every single story I see, it could be a family function, it could be a play day, it could be you with the kid. Like, it's always drink nearby. And I say that because those were the telltale signs for me. Every single time that I had to get up, I had a drink. Every single time that I left the house, I had a drink. Every single time that I jumped in my car, I was around other people, I had to have a drink. Every single time that I got back in the house, I had a drink. Everything was a fucking excuse to drink. It was, oh man, that person getting here, drink. Oh man, the job fucking pissed me off, drink. Oh man, this is that third. I can go to the car, drink. Um, and it was times when I only picked jobs that would allow me to use. You know what I mean? Like, and once again, these are telltale signs. And if these are telltale signs for you, then I'm speaking a story that you live in right now. But it's times when motherfuckers like me would do shit like as far as work or any type of job where it would be a job where I could get fucked up on, or it's a job where I could drink or whatever, and then when you got those type of jobs, you gotta think about the energy and the people that you work with. And that's part of the reason why a lot of times I always had conflict at work because my sister once told me, and my homeboy Neil once told me, shout out Neil, um, when you go into them type places like certain warehouses or productions or shit like Amazon and shit like that, man, you working with very low vibration people. I didn't say dumb people. Let's get it straight. Look up the definition on a spiritual level. You're working with low vibration. These are people who haven't had spiritual awakenings. Some of these people are people that don't know how to deal with things because of shit that happened in their childhood. These are people that may have been suffering from something that, that may have affected them in a bad way all the way up into adulthood that they never got over, never, whatever the case is. Or some motherfuckers just could be coming home from jail and don't know the system and just trying to enter back into society to be a productive member. But that's what she once told me. And it's funny how every single incident was always in these warehouses where, oh, hey, we're going to give you this and just do all this hard ass work. And it was low vibration, man. Like motherfuckers with no spiritual principles, motherfuckers with no faith, no belief. And you'll have one, a couple people like me in there. That's why I always tell you, get with your community, get with your crowd, get with your type of people as far as friends, as far as what you're trying to do, as far as your come up, all of those things. And I love my circle, I love my friends, I love my family to death. But when it comes time to focusing on what is good for Tion and what's good for me to get myself back on track, I have to look into myself. You know what I mean? I have to look into what sets me off. I have to look into um how I'm around people and I gotta wear a mask. All the way back down to what I talked about the first time, how you gotta dumb yourself down to be around certain people. And that's all with that vibration and shit. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just gotta love people from afar because they not on the same mindset. Or they can be on the same mindset, but the frequencies ain't the same. You know what I mean? The wavelength is different. Um, and those are things that I had to learn. And a part of that, learning came from me coming here. I've tried fucking psychiatry. In the literature, they say we try psychiatry, we try this, we try that, and nothing seems to work until we come to the Narcotics Anonymous program. Man, listen, I tried fucking psychiatry. I tried a therapist. I tried hospitals. I tried doctors. I even reached out to a fucking pastor that my sister put me down with. I used to call this lady like 1, 2 in the morning, like just fucking, I'm in a spiritual warfare. I'm fighting demons. I don't know what to do. And, she would give me verses and things, but like the verses was cool and they were good, but that was not helping, man. The best thing that I could have done to get myself out of what I was dealing with in my mind and everything around me was to leave. My man Devin, shout out to my bro Devin. Um, he always, always was telling me like, T, you got to get out that house. You got to get out that environment. You got to get away. You got to just get a whole new change of scenery, put new things around you. So, I ended up in my cousin's program and that was one of the best things that's happened to me right now because I've got away. I'm not like out of state or nothing, but I crossed the bridge is what we call it. I crossed the bridge, came here, and things. I got a new perspective on things. I got a clear head. Um, I got to a point where certain people can't even really reach me or communicate to me because I don't need nothing throwing me off. I don't need nothing digging into what I got going. Like I call my family, my friends, I call people that I care about, and I listen to their problems. I talk. I'm cool with that. It's just the point on when a motherfucker just like trying to be nosy or trying to see if you got your shit together or going on so that they can go back and use that shit as motivation, see you down. Maybe all kind of shit like that that you'd be surprised about. That's why like a lot of times I go into my mode where I'm like, oh shit, I'm away from all that shit. Let me lock in and let me get back on track to what I'm doing here. But man, anybody struggling with something as far as like a direction or what to do in life, man, you gotta do something totally different. You gotta get out of your comfort zone. You gotta do something that, that's gonna be able to push you in a position and push you in a place where, you can be able to have a focus and a more clear head on what it is that you need to do. And that's another thing too. Some of us take the wheel a lot of times and we want to do something. We want to do, man, sometimes it ain't what the fuck you want, it's what God wants. And that's where I had to learn. Like, yeah, we get so caught up in, I want to do this, and I know I can do it because dreams come true, and that's fine. If you have that passion, you're chasing it, you're doing it, cool. But what I'm trying to explain is sometimes it's not truly what you want. You know what I mean? That's what God wants for you. And when duty calls, you answer. You answer. Um, and that's one of the things that I believe that I'm being pushed to now. I'm pushed to, you know, do God's duty in some way. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still learning. But for the most part, man, the best advice that I can give is just try to focus on yourself, focus on your flaws, focus on things that you need to get fixed, focus on things that you need to work on for you, and not working on it for others, but working on it for you. And even in this program, I had a lot of people. Some people would say like, "Man, I'm doing this for my kids," or "I'm doing this." Man, listen, let me tell you something. If you doing fucked up shit right now, and you feel me, them kids is there, when you decide to want to do something right, keep in mind that it probably ain't for the fucking kids, motherfucker, because if that's the case, you'd have been tending to your situation with your kid. Like me, I was riding around drinking, fucking hanging out with my homies and shit on dangerous blocks with my son in the back seat. So when I got here, I was thinking to myself, I really thought to myself, but then I entered the rooms and the meetings and I started hearing motherfuckers like, motherfucker, you ain't there for your motherfucking kids. You wasn't there for them when the fuck you was out there. You know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta do that shit for you in most cases, man. That's where I'm at with it, bro. Thanks for checking in. Living life on life terms. I'm gonna end it with just for the day. And that's, I no longer need to run in fear, but can walk in faith that my higher power has only the best in store for me. I walk in faith that God has the best in store. Thanks for letting me share. Tune in.